I'm Nicole, and I invited Gail Fischler onto our video today so we can talk about a new product that I've discovered that she has on her site on Teachers Pay Teachers. It's called 1-2-3 Line Read Play. So I'd like to show you how I'm using it in Tonara Studio. So here is the Tonara desktop version, and I'm looking at my student Kezi. And here is the 1-2-3 line read and play. And with Kezi, I went and I printed just the page that I needed, which was this one right here. So the blank page looks like this. So we had a paper copy in front of her at her lesson, and then we could put stickers on it. Inside her assignment here, I've put a picture of the composition that she created. So these circles right here are reinforcers for when you tear like your hole punched page and you want to reinforce that hole. And I found they work really nicely because we can color them whatever color we want. And when I use them as notes, they function like whole notes, so we can see the line going through them. So I was able to say to Kezi, you know, let's say this one right here, one of these, I remember she posted it just a little bit so the line was in the top or the bottom, and I couldn't tell that she meant it to be a line note. So I was able to say to her, well, let's take out that sticker and put it just a little bit in a different place so we can make sure it looks just like a line note. And so Kezi is still pre-reading right now. She knows her letters. She's using the My First Piano Adventures A book right now, so she's not reading online. So this was a perfect opportunity to introduce how we use a line to show up, down, or stay the same. So we put a circle here to represent C, and then we looked at the keyboard and said, what's the very next note? What's the upper neighbor? D. And then what's the lower neighbor? B. And then we just decided, you know, she chose, where do you want to put the stickers? And then she drew a line down here to represent her composition. And that was our first experience with it. When we do this next week, I will be able to take this idea and use it with two lines. Here's an example of the G and E lines. We might go with this page here where we can put C and E, or C and E, or maybe A and C if we're doing the left hand. And that way she can start to expand her idea of how to use lines when we're reading music. So I was so excited that she really enjoyed that and that worked so well with Tonara. The way I've designed this assignment for Kezi is we already did the composition in her lesson. And so I've included the picture of it here, but she actually has the hard copy that got sent home with her. And then I might ask her to make a recording of it and send it to me. So this assignment I've created is something that I want her to talk to me about in the chat section. She's going to send me a recording in the chat section of what she's accomplished with playing her composition that she wrote. And maybe she'll even expand it and come back with it even more longer and more developed. So when she has sent me that chat, she'll be able to click mark as done, and then it will automatically give her 500 extra points for completing this assignment. And you can change how many points they get to. But that's just an extra motivator there. So the way we'll be communicating about that is in this chat section here. Then I'll be able to find Kezi right here, and we'll be able to have a conversation here, and she'll hopefully be sending me her video or a picture of what she's done at home. And that's just a really cool way that we can continue to expand on this idea of starting to move from pre-reading to reading with lines and spaces. So thank you so much, Gail, for sharing this resource with me, because I really think it's going to transition really nicely, you know, helping her become a reader of the line notes and the space notes and such.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. I'm really glad that Nicole shared all these very interesting ways to use Tonara, because a teaching tool should not only be able to use one way. I think we should be able to use teaching tools in all kinds of situations and for many different types of students. I want to share some other ways that I've used read and play. And here's one. If you can see, we use push pins on a foam board. And the other side is cork, so you can put whichever side out you like. And then what I usually do here is you notice I've put the first 4 notes there, or the first 4 things to play right on the line. And so I would have my student play those. I made them all the same color pushpin, but you don't have to, because it's really important. And I think one of the things that this does show people is that it's where the note is that counts. It's not what the note looks like. They get hung up on that. Sometimes oh, it's a half note. It's different from a quarter note. Well, it is, but it doesn't change the location of the note or the sound.
And I love focusing on note head and not stem.
Exactly. And then maybe I might say, okay, what happens if I add this one? And then we will talk about the fact they've already written in what the upper neighbor is, so they'll play that shape. And then I'll ask them to add one note. And so maybe they'll put this one here, just hanging down there below the line. And you can color code them or not, whatever you like. And then once we've done it, then I'll say, well, now you need to change one. So perhaps they'll take this one off and add another green. So I have done this with groups. It works really well, a little round robin kind of deal, where the next student comes, they change one thing, and then perhaps the next student after them has to play it, and then they change one thing, and the next student plays it. And I have even used these with adults. At first, when I was doing that in my group lessons at the college with adults, and some of them were students, some of them were retirees. There were all kinds of beginners in that class. And I thought, maybe they're going to think this is for little kids, but they loved it. And sometimes I take out the robots and I'll just put one line on the chalkboard or whatever, or the whiteboard. But actually they got upset. They said they wanted to have the cute pages too. And here's another thing I've done, is to just take a cookie sheet or a broiler pan or whatever, and just go ahead and put magnets and stick your piece of paper up there. Then you can just move your notes any way that you like using magnets. And I even have taken double-sided sticky tape and put little Lego people on them.
I love that.
But you could use dinosaurs or whatever. The only thing that you do need, I think, has to happen is they really have to fit. You need to be able to see that's in the space. Mm-hmm. She might be just a little big, but the kids get it because I can see the magnet underneath, the round magnet. But this makes it very easy, and you can stick it on your piano, or you can stick it on a music stand, or do whatever you like, and use it individually or in groups. You could even, I had some students take pictures, and then they would send it to another student, and then they would have to play the song, and then they would move one thing, take a picture, and send it back.
I could totally see that happening in Tonara. In our group chat area, we could have, whoever is the first student of the day gets to change it, and that next student takes a picture. So even students who don't see each other because they're not in a group lesson, if they're in private lessons, they get to see at the beginning of the day, the first student had this, and by the end of the day, it's already changed this much, and then Tuesday students could change it. That could be really cool.
It would be fun. And actually, you can also send recordings so that the next student could check it by ear.
I love that.
See if the student played it right.
And another idea I just had is to do dictation. So then you take the composition, the recording, and can the student notate it with the magnets or the push pins in their lesson?
Exactly.
That's wonderful. I love it.
And you notice that here we've gone to 2-line. You talked about the 2-line read and play, mm-hmm. But there's also 3-line read and play, and there's lots of sheets where you can write in whatever notes you want, because after all, every note's a line note somewhere. So it doesn't really matter what note you put on the lines. I mean, as long as it goes with the notational pattern.
Yes.
can't be random.
That's the value to the ones that don't have a C or a letter at the beginning.
Right.
You can just say, well, what if this was the line note? Let's play it here on the piano. What was this is the line note? Let's play it here on the piano.
Right. And how many of those single lines you need to do depends on the student and how quick. I found, though, that I think I can go on sometimes and I need to review with them. You know, some students just go zoop, 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 and they go through them and they've got it and they can just do 5 lines, no problem. Other people, they need more time, more reinforcement. So
that's awesome. So Gail, thanks for coming on today and sharing this resource with us and these new ideas on way to use it. Like, I thought I had ideas on how I want to use it, but now I have even more ideas that I'm so excited to share, especially this idea that we can get the whole studio creating a composition together, or sharing and reusing the same composition in totally different ways to help reading and listening and just creating a sense of community. So that is so cool. So thank you for making that available. So again, that resource is available on Teachers Pay Teachers. But before we end today, I just wanted to remind everyone that if you sign up for Tonara using Gail's coupon code, you can get 10% off. So you get a 30-day trial, and then after that trial's over and you choose to sign up, you can enter the code that we're going to put on the screen, and it will save you some extra dollars. So for anyone interested in doing that, the coupon code is Piano Addict, PIANOADDICT, and that represents Gail's community, pianoaddict.com. So we hope you'll join us on Tonara and also check out Gail's products on Teachers Pay Teachers and on her website, pianoaddict.com.
Thanks so much, Nicole.
You're welcome.
I was glad to be here today with everybody.
I'm so glad you could join us too. All right, have a great day, everyone.